Hello, and welcome to Walks with Amanda. Today, I wanted to share a very, very, very important and controversial topic out there about none other than children and video games. And I guess any technology, really, not just video games. But what I wanted to talk about today and share with you all today is what actually happened when I took away video games from my son, and didn't give him back. So I'll just give you a little bit of a background. When I was raising my son by myself, I was a single mom. You know, I had a job and I had my own place and my own car, and I took care of us, and I lived on my own, obviously. And he was probably about 3 or so when he started playing like those Lego video games on the Xbox. And I was dating someone at the time who liked video games, so he would, buy my son video games like that and taught him how to play it. And we're talking, he's 3 years old and learning how to play video games. And at the time, I didn't think anything of it because I grew up with video games. We had the Nintendo, we played Duck Hunt and Sega Game Gear and Game Boy. And, I had those available as a child. But I will say that when I was growing up, the option was there for video games, but I didn't really choose it a lot. I mostly played by myself, with my dolls, and played outside, rode my bike, played with friends. I wasn't too much into the video games, but I do remember my older brother being more into them. So perhaps it is a boy thing. Boys tend to be more into video games anyway. So I didn't really think of anything, of it being wrong when he started playing them. It just wasn't a big deal. So as time went on, I ended up getting married when my son had just turned 5, and my husband didn't have any issues with him playing the video games. It wasn't a big deal. It just wasn't even talked about because there was no issues. Well, let me tell you, when my son started kindergarten and I became fully aware of his lack of attention and just general rebellion in the classroom, I started doing some research, and I came across this book. I think it was called Simplicity Parenting. It was recommended by a blog I was reading. And, I read this book, and it basically said, if you want your kid to be more focused and, just more calm and, in tune with everything, then you need to remove all technology, all TV, all, shiny toys that are blinking lights and making sounds, and just basically go back to the roots of forget about technology and all this new inventions for children. So I gave it a try. Now that was when he was 5, and he turned his attention to playing outside, and it actually did not help with the school situation at all, but that's another topic for another day. So after about a year or so of taking a break from the video games, I let him start playing them again, and then my husband came up with the, only on the weekends rule, or, we just kept it limited. And so that was fine. But as time went on and he got older, my husband started buying, different consoles like PlayStation and, Xbox One and all these games. And it turned into, he started playing, these death video games. And it's sort of a joke in our house now because, it's kind of funny, but it's not really that funny. But, here's my son totally in a video game coma playing, Call of Duty World War II. And it's like, okay, it's time to draw the line. So I was hardcore, let's take the video games, let's sell the video games to my husband. I just want to get rid of it. It's, it's just too much of a distraction. My son, it's all he wanted to do anymore was play video games. And my husband was always like, no, like as long as it's limited. And, you know, at the time it was still limited. He played it on the weekends, and, you know, as long as he got his schoolwork done, you know, he could play. Well, eventually, because I know I mentioned in the last walk that he is homeschooled, but he did go to school for the first couple of years. So fast forward, you know, he's homeschooled now, and it's been almost 2 years of that. He was home all the time, and all he wanted to do is play video games. And so I would give in and say, you know what? Who cares? Just play the stupid thing, because I don't want to keep hearing about it. And you know, I've explained I'm the type of mom who just wants peace and quiet, and I just want, you know, a lot of time alone. So I saw it as an escape. So I would let him play, you know, his video games and didn't really care. Well, about a year ago, I became just totally interested in learning about the brain and, you know, different things. And I came across so much research about video games and children, and I was appalled because I couldn't believe what I was reading. It was exactly what was going on with my son. It explained that when children his age play these high intensity killing death video games, you know, war games and stuff, it produces such adrenaline, and it releases all kind of chemical reserves in their brains, and then they are just 100% depleted, and they become cranky, tired, you know, hungry, and just irritable. They can't sleep, and, you know, it's just like all they want to do is play these video games. And so about a couple months ago, my husband got a break from work, and he saw my son's attitude and just the way he was being towards me and just in life in general. And my husband finally, thank the Lord, decided we're taking away video games for good. And I was like, hallelujah, because I saw it years ago, and I knew it's what needed to happen. So I was, of course, all about it. So we packed up the video games and put them away, and he hasn't played any video games since. And I am here to tell you, it is the best thing that has happened to him. So within after the first couple days, it was like he was going through withdrawal. I swear. It was like he was withdrawing from these video games, and, you know, he just was like, I don't want to do anything, and I don't feel like doing anything else, and I just wish I could play a game, and blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, well, that's not going to happen. So you need to figure out what else you can spend your time with doing. And so after a few days of the whole thing, he started, he started playing with his toys again. He started building things again, and he started researching things again that he's interested in. And he turned his attention to other things. And some of the things that I've noticed as, a benefit so far that, he's been off these video games is his appetite has regulated. So he does not crave as much carbs and sugar that he was craving when he was playing the games. Because as I explained, when those brain chemicals are depleted, our body's like, I need more. And sugar and carbs are the first way that our body craves to get those chemicals flowing, the good chemicals flowing. So, but I've seen now that he's not played them in months, he has a regular appetite. He doesn't overeat. He doesn't crave as much sugar or carbs, which is great. He sleeps amazingly. He gets sometimes 11 hours of sleep, and that's great for a growing boy his age. I've seen him be able to concentrate on the schoolwork we do. I've seen him just his attitude just transform to one of thankfulness and clarity, and he feels good. He's been doing karate for several months, so he's been focusing on his karate. He's been focusing on working out. He loves to do push-ups and exercise, and He'll come up to me randomly in the middle of the day. Hey, Mom, do you need any help with anything? And it's just a miracle. And so I know that there are so many parents out there who may be like wanting to get rid of the video games, but they're scared that if they do take the video games away, well, then what's their kid going to do all the time? Well, I'm here to say, don't worry about it. They will figure it out. And that is a promise. Kids are kids. They've got energy, they've got time, and they just want to do something. And when they don't have those distractions and, default, oh, I'm just going to go play a video game, they will be creative. They will start playing and making up games and wanting to engage with you. And, they'll just be happier because they're not being depleted of these chemicals that are so necessary to everyday life. They'll have that energy. They'll have that motivation to stay, busy and occupied. And you don't have to do anything. You just get to watch as your child becomes a child again and becomes enjoyable and happy. So if you're one of those parents out there and you really want, you're thinking about it and you're like, man, I really need to get rid of this technology and these games, and you're just seeing, how addicting it is for them. I'm here to encourage you to just take a chance. Just try it. Just, simply explain to your child, these are going away and you need to accept that. You're not in charge, and, Mom and Dad have decided that we don't want these anymore for you right now, or for however long you want to do this. And they will whine and probably be upset at first, but once those couple of days have passed and they are getting sleep again and their appetite is normal again, and you're just gonna see how worth it is, and you'll never look back. So I hope that helps someone out there, especially as moms. We want the best for our kids. If you're one of those moms and you needed to hear this today, if you have any other questions, please feel free to contact me. Or if you have, just anything you're worried about or want to talk about, feel free to reach out. But I've just seen amazing things come from this choice that my husband and I made. And I know that it can happen for you and your kids too. So that's all for today on this walk. I hope you'll join me again next week for another topic and another walk. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.